is a regular meeting for Goal Academy. I'd like to call the meeting to order. I'd like to have roll call.
Lisa Silver. Drace Walker.
Here.
CJ Renaud.
Here.
Luis Contreras.
Here.
Mark Mariak. Ted Del Duca.
I'm here.
And quorum is established.
Great. I'd like to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sweet. Oh. I'd like for all of us to read our mission and vision out loud. Our mission is to develop productive members of society. Our vision, helping all students achieve their full potential in a caring,
supportive, and personalized environment.
Great, thank you. Before you have tonight's agenda, I need a motion to approve tonight's agenda as before you.
Motion.
Great, thank you. Call for that vote.
Getting there. Hold on. Sorry. You guys are too fast for me. Okay. Drace Walker.
Yay.
CJ Renaud.
Yay.
Luis Contreras.
Aye.
Ted Del Duca.
Aye.
Motion is carried.
Thank you. Tonight under good news, Ryan Mathews, Southern Colorado principal. Are you there?
Yes, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing quite well. How are you guys?
We're great. What do you got for us today?
Awesome. So thank you everybody. So my name is Ryan Mathews. I'm the newly appointed principal for the Southern region. And today I'm just going to share some awesome things that are happening in our area. When I was kind of reflecting on this, I was trying to figure out what should I focus on? Like there's so many good things happening, but I wanted to choose a specific theme. So I decided to focus on the extras, the community extras, the educational opportunities that we're providing our students outside the computer. How are our sites becoming communities for our students? And so with that, I just have some cool events to kind of share with you guys. Just spotlighting some of our site events. Next slide.
Who's running the slide?
Or scroll.
There you go.
Perfect. So in Pagosa Springs, the tiny town of Pagosa Springs, we have about 100 students there. We have a teacher who's leading a weekly class to grow domes, which is a national project associated with year-long gardening systems. So just really, really cool things happening there every single week. We just get students out away from their computers, out into the community, and they're learning how to cook, they're learning how to garden, they're planting their own plants inside the site, and then they're actually bringing them to this project as well. So it's just a really, really cool opportunity. And this organization actually relies on us now for volunteers. So it's just really, really cool to give back. And Trinidad and Walsenburg, a group of staff, wonderful staff, took an amazing group of students to a tour at Adams State University in Alamosa. So not only are they focusing just on their immediate communities close to them, but they're also focusing on getting students to surrounding areas. So this was a huge win, really focusing on those post-secondary pathways and encouraging students and empowering them within that. Alamosa does a weekly event day every single Wednesday. They have activity-themed days led by several of the coaches there as well as the administrative assistant. And in these photos here is pictured, they're actually doing paracord bracelet making. Staff partook as well, as you can see there. And then they also focused on knitting. They had some textile days with this, but they also have been using transportation plans to enhance their student engagement as well, which has been a huge win for that site. And in Pagosa Springs, we started an official Knowledge Bowl. If you guys are not familiar with Knowledge Bowl, it is a statewide project, basically. They compete with other schools. They go to state It has to follow CHASA regulations as well. It's a big deal. And so we actually have the regional director who's a staff member at Goal. And she actually brought Knowledge Bowl to our sites and to our locations. And we actually turned it into an experiential class this year where we actually do meets with other local schools, as well as they do compete at the big tournament in January as well here at regionals. So very exciting. Back to Alamosa. Alamosa held an amazing open house resource fair that was open to students, families, community members, and prospective students as well. Just a huge opportunity to just get everybody together and to provide these amazing resources and opportunities to so many families and students in this local town. We actually had a really cool thing happen in Pagosa Springs, back to Pagosa Springs here, where normally when we see our graduates, it's an amazing thing. We love to see our graduates. But we actually got to see a graduate come back to us briefly to provide us with recruitment materials for the Air Force to tell us how he's doing. And his next mission is actually, he's headed to Japan for 2 years. This fellow is amazing. He was a recent graduate of ours. It really made our day to see him, and it really comes full circle, these moments. So that was really, really cool to just kind of see that. And back to Walsenburg here. Walsenburg led an awesome Main Street event for trick-or-treating for the community there. Walsenburg is a very tiny town, and I really do believe that our Walsenburg Goal location actually really focuses on community growth and becomes a hub, not just for our students, but for local community members as well. And this gave our students an opportunity to really get out of the site, to really volunteer, to see the community unfold in front of them, and all these opportunities gifted to the community. So that was really, really cool. And Cortez and Durango did a collaboration with a program called I Am Music, which is a local program here in Durango. They offered an experiential class where students actually get Goal credit. We transport students once a week to this music studio, and they provide this music education across the course of 12 weeks to Cortez students and Durango students. So we're just seeing this awesome collaboration happen among sites as well. And these students really come out of their shell to learn new skills. It's amazing. And in Cortez, we have an art club there that's offered. So as you can see from some of these amazing photos here, these are some of the themes throughout their art club adventures. They do at least a once a month thing, sometimes every couple of weeks. They just try to really enhance the social emotional growth for students by offering these multiple opportunities for students to come into the site for more than just their education. And Durango, so as you guys know, our amazing CTE program really took off this year with offering in-person construction classes. And so we actually had a Goal staff member travel down to our area to offer a hands-on CTE construction workshop with these students as part of their course credit. So just in the parking lot, just set up shop, literally. It was amazing. So just really, really cool things happening all around. On top of that, we can't forget the fun things as well. So we had to bring in some bowling activities and some mini golf. Just lots of fun things happening for students at this site. And lastly, back to Pagosa Springs, we have a student council there that we've really been trying to apply structure to and commitment and just that type of level that you don't often see in the online setting because it's hard to get students to come in on a consistent basis. But this group of students is basically young entrepreneurs. They've created the first fundraising opportunities that we've seen here. They actually designed the site's social contract, sent it out to students for feedback. They're just really embodying what we really want our site to be. And so this is just some of the opportunities that they've really presented. And none of this would be possible without the amazing staff that committed to leading these meetings, helping students to facilitate these meetings, helping the school to support these other students. So super important, super awesome stuff. Yeah, they had canned food drives going on right now. They have bake sales going on to raise money. They have all kinds of amazing things going on. So just really, really neat to just take these students out of the site and out of their computer classes and to see how they kind of thrive within the community setting that we set. So that is my good things for today. I just really wanted to highlight some special things. We have way more than that going on, but I did not want to take up too much of your time today. I just really wanted to show you guys what Goal does is so amazing, and it's something that's inspired me ever since I've been an employee here, because we really do focus on that blended education model, that holistic, whole student support from the very beginning with these students. It's not just a high quality education that we offer, it's so much more. And I'm thrilled to be a part of that, and I'm thrilled to be here tonight. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Ryan. Any questions from anybody?
I just want to say the dome gardening, how cool. Totally interested.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah, great things going on. Love it.
Thank you, Ryan. I love your enthusiasm. Appreciate that.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Next up, we have a strategic plan update, and we have Alan in person. What do you got, Alan?
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I appreciate the opportunity to come in and be in person. And that's a hard act to follow. Ryan's got some really cool things going on there. I do want to talk a little bit about Pillar 4. As a co-chair on Pillar 4 with Ron Beal, we started a conversation around creating a program for Teacher of the Year. Part of Pillar 4, one of our strategies is around celebrating staff and staff excellence, and we have spent quite a bit of time going over this program. I've evaluated what D49 has done, what other school districts have done, brought that to the principals. We've had some really good roundtable discussions about what works and what might not work, and trying to come up with something that is going to ensure fairness and inclusivity, and also just the alignment with Goal and our mission and our culture. But yeah, I mean, there it is. A positive and unified staff with a strong feeling of wellness and job satisfaction is key to meeting Goal's mission and vision. So, we also wanted to build something that is scalable. So let's talk a little bit about why it matters. We're looking here for an opportunity to elevate morale and create a culture of appreciation and recognition. We're also want to strengthen the community amongst our staff to be able to, and students and families, to be able to kind of engage with the stakeholders about all of these amazing, outstanding educators and honor them. And we want to promote fairness. We want it to be inclusive and transparent and anonymous. And that was one of the things that we talked a lot about in the roundtable discussion with principals. And so anonymity and not having any one supervisor be a kingmaker, if you will. Right? And again, this is all in draft form. This is something we're still working on, but we're working on it. It's coming closer and closer. We socialized this with all the staff at Quorum in July, so it's moving forward. The impact of something like this, it really goes beyond an award. It reinforces positive organizational culture where achievements can be celebrated, collaboration can occur, and it involves the entire Goal community. And the way that's going to work, the structure of that, or how it works really, we're going to start with inclusive nominations where students and all staff are presented an opportunity to nominate one name. We've taken a lot of care to make sure that there's no bias in the list of names. It's randomized every time. And then once that is done, we'll evaluate the number of nominations and come back in like a phase 2 nominations with a reduced number. How many teachers do we have now, Jill? We're in the 200s? 262. Thank you, Brianna. So obviously, we'll start with a very simple, just name denomination. We'll transfer down to the phase 2 with a much shorter list where a second nomination can come through. And then we'll ask those that are nominating to answer just a few questions about why they chose that second nomination. We're working on some of the construct of what those questions might be, but we want those to be supportive of a final committee opportunity where a committee would be able to look at the very top teachers that got the most nominations in that round and look at the answers to those questions and not see the teacher's name. So that committee would actually be like a blind committee at that point. And we would be interested in having that committee be some third party, maybe even board members or directors of cabinet, something like that. But we want it to be inclusive, and we want it to really help the culture of the school thrive. So as we move forward with it, hopefully we'll have another update on that. But any questions?
Why did it take so long?
Why did it take so long? That's a great question. Actually, because it is something that, as a supervising principal, that I mentioned earlier, not wanting to be a kingmaker. You can't make everybody happy. And so the process, like I said, evaluating what other districts are doing, what other schools are doing, no one's doing it like this, I can tell you that. And when I have mentioned this format to some of the other school leaders in this community here in Pueblo, they went, wow, that would actually work. That makes sense, and it kind of answers a lot of the speed bumps that they have encountered. What I've learned is other schools have tried to do this, and they pulled the plug on it because it became problematic and biased in some way. So that would be why it took so long. Design, right?
Right.
I think it was Abraham Lincoln that said, ask me to chop down a tree in 6 hours, I'll spend 4 sharpening my axe, right? So, well, any other questions? Or?
Thank you.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
No board training. Next up, we have officers' reports. You guys put these out of order here.
We like to keep you on your toes.
Okay. All right, well, first up, our Chief Executive Officer, Jill, what's going on?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President, and good afternoon or evening, members of the board. We did switch up because Mr. Hochaver is not with us this evening. He is traveling on behalf of Goals, so he was not able to be here. And of course, we know that the first thing you love to hear about is the academic report. So that is why we switched things up tonight. So I will be taking that report tonight. You guys are stuck with me again for academic report. So we'll go ahead and jump in and talk about our enrollment demographics and how things are going there. So we are probably in the last couple days of getting final ruling from the Department of Education on what our final count will be. We are very positive that we will be at least 6,976. There were 10 students that were still showing up on the duplicate list, and those now are being ruled on by the state. So our highest funded could be 6,986. And we, of course, know our enrollment goal that was set by regions evaluating applications and trend data for the last several years was set at 6,924. So it is safe to say that we will definitely be exceeding the goal, and we will fall within that 10-student spread once we receive final word. Also happy to report that we have 107 graduates already, which is a lot for the first quarter of the school year. That doesn't even include yet quarter 2 graduates, because that quarter doesn't end for a few weeks. So doing an amazing job with our students coming in, finishing maybe that last credit or 2 and getting graduated within the first quarter of the school year. That number will just keep watching that rise, which is exciting. Our return rate stood very strong with being closer to that count number now, very strong number of 82.6% return. We still are following our typical true fashion goal trend, where of these 6,976 students, 45% of them are returners, so they were students with us last year, and 55% of them are new to goal this year. That is a pretty normal trend for us. When you graduate 1,700 students, and then you grow in your enrollment by a couple hundred kids year over year, and then of course we do have some students that did age out of our system, and we also have some students that chose different pathways. So really looking at 82% return rate only makes up 45% of our enrollment, which is really kind of crazy to think about when you think about it. But it is a typical trend. We also have 74 students that are participating that are what we call our over 21 unfunded students. So we have 74 students that chose to come back and continue their pathway towards earning their high school diploma since they didn't quite make it when they were still funded. And of course, we reserve 100 spots for students to do that. So we were able to fill 74 of those spots this year. And our AAC rate is standing strong above that 90% that is required by the state, and we are sitting at a 94.6%. So we definitely exceeded that rate we need to be able to renew our AAC status, because that is something we do have to renew every single year. And so we did meet that goal, and we are well above that rate. Any questions on enrollment, demographics, or AAC data?
On the 74 unfunded, those, their scores and everything, they go into our
Calculation.
They do not. So those 74 students do not go into the 6976 number, and they do not go into any of our data for growth or achievement when we do like state assessments or even STAR data. Those students are removed. Those 76 kids do go into and are accounted for in like pass rate and attendance data, because we do hold those same expectations for staff that we need to make sure those kids are being accountable to the school. And so we do include them in attendance, we do include them in connect rate, and we do include them in the pass rate. But we actually remove them when we report state data. So when Carla does send data to the state, those 74 are removed from that type of data, like for the final SPF rating. But of course, we know 74 kids is such a small number, it really isn't moving the needle either way.
Okay, thank you.
All righty. Great question, though. Moving on to our academic outcomes. So, of course, we know we have just a few weeks left in the second quarter of the school year. It is already November of 2025, and we end quarter two right before winter break in December. So we have about 3.5 weeks of quarter two left. Currently trending very well in show up with a 97% attendance rate, staying strong with our connect rate at a 65.2%, and of course scrolling down through our data chart to give us some data over time. Pass rate was sitting at a 33.9% when I checked last. We know that rate varies dramatically, sometimes hour over hour, depending on grade books and students turning in work. So we are expecting, of course, to see something similar to either our quarter one data and falling between quarter one and probably quarter two of last school year. That tends to be our trend, where we do increase, of course, and get that rate back to where it was. And then moving into our Thrive data, we do have a little bit more data today to report on. Currently still sitting at 421 students participating in concurrent enrollment. We do still have that one intern that Jason spoke about last board meeting. We do have a good number of how many kids are actually participating now in work-based learning from quarter one and quarter two, which is 312 students participating in that program, and 168 students actually earned work-based learning credit for the first quarter. And then, of course, we will see many of those students earn work-based learning credit for the second quarter or for the full semester. Remember, work-based learning, it does depend on many factors, such as students' participation at work, feedback that we receive from their workplace on how they're doing as an employee, and then also students working a certain amount of hours. They do have to work 120 hours at the workplace to be able to earn that half a credit of work-based learning credit. So it is a commitment on the students' half, part to really, be present at work, do a good job at work, get good evaluations, and show up for their work hours so that they can earn their high school credit also. And we are rocking in the Work Keys certificates. We already have 579 Work Keys certificates earned. And we know, of course, that's an indicator for graduation, as it is a requirement to earn a workforce certificate for the graduation guidelines, and also a requirement of our senior recovery program. And then we have a breakdown there for our bronze, gold, silver, and platinum, kind of where they fall for that 579. Any questions on the academic reports?
No questions, but congratulations on exceeding your goal number. That's great.
Thank you. Yes, kudos to the team and all the amazing work they do to get all those kids in and enrolled and engaged and keep them engaged. So, all right, moving on next to our annual performance report. So, as we know, Goal Academy High School, it has some accountability metrics. Our first, of course, is from our school performance framework, which is a requirement of the state, and our second is from our APR, which is a requirement of our authorizing district. So I am happy to report for a second year in a row of our 5-year contract we currently are working with D49 on, we are standing in good standing. So, of course, we know that good standing is great for us because that is one of the stipulations when we come up for a renewal. That's one of the things that is considered when renewing the charter is the charter doing their end of the deal and staying in good standing according to their accountability. This metrics is broken into 3 main parts. They look at our academic accountability, they look at our finance and how we're doing in the areas of finance, and they look at how we are doing operational. And so we can see in academics, those 2 areas of approaching also are mirrored within our SPF that the state gives us. Doing very well in the areas of finance. We know we have a strong budget, strong reserve, and we have amazing clean audits. And in the area of operations, we are meeting all of the requirements that there are in the areas of operations. So we are sitting at a weighted score of a 3.1. Anything of a 3 or higher leaves us in good standing. So doing a great job. I did provide the board the complete APR packet. It's like 27 pages. Not going to go through all 27, but you all will have it. You can review it, and that really shows the standards, how they're measured, and what is the school being held accountable for by looking at all those standards. I would also like to mention that we are currently working with District 49 to make some updates to the annual performance review. So the review will look a little bit different next school year. As soon as those updates are completed, we'll provide at least a copy to the board along with the whole goal staff so everyone is aware of what some of those new requirements are that we will be working with District 49 and working under to ensure that we maintain our good standing. Any questions on the annual performance review?
Do you anticipate any major changes?
So there hasn't been, not major in the area that we will still be looking at academics, we will still be looking at finance, and we will still be accountable for operations. Some of the changes will be those measures within academics. Some of those will be changing. Some things that we're currently being held accountable for will actually drop, and some new things will be added. Nothing in academics will be added, though, that doesn't already appear on the school performance framework, that we're already accountable to the state for, so I feel very confident in that. The weights, however, of the areas will be changing. Currently, we are held accountable to the APR at 40% academics, 20% finance, and 40% operation, and that will be changing to 60% academics, 10% finance, and 25% operation. So a little change in the weight of how it will be weighted, and that's one of the areas that we are, not so much the weighted, but we are discussing with District 49 in the conversations, what will that look like and how will those actually be measured within them to ensure that we are setting proper goals to maintain our good standing. So more to come. As soon as we do have a final draft of that, I will definitely bring that draft so at least the board can see what the new accountability on the annual performance framework looks like.
Very good. Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions on the APR? All righty. And last but not least, just a new little ad we're going to keep on every board meeting is a save the date reminder, just reminding everyone to mark your calendars, because we really do hope that our board members can join us for, even if it's just part of the forum event. We hope that you can join us on either both days or one day in July on the 28th and 29th for our forum for 2026. I do have a typo error there. I'll fix that. And that, of course, will be held in Broomfield, Colorado at the Omni Interlochen. So we'll keep that save the date on. And next month, I'm going to add a few more save the dates of all of our many graduation ceremonies for you guys. So you can start marking those. We'll keep them on the agenda so it has a good place for you guys to always go back and look and be reminded of those dates. So hopefully we can have as many board members join us as possible, depending on your calendars. And that is all I have tonight, Mr. President.
Oh, no, that's not all you have.
No.
Because,
Okay.
because the 28th is a board meeting. So we will be at that board meeting.
Sounds good. What a good way to get the board at forum. Hold a meeting.
My thinking was, because I doubt that the 700 people that are going to be in that room they may have watched or whatever, but I think we should have a board meeting there, not drag it out, but let them know how we do this, and it's just kind of like we're doing now.
We could definitely do that. I mean, we
I think we
could
can
set the
squeeze that
ballroom
in.
up and
Yeah.
hold our board meeting, and then anyone who would like to come could. It is an open meeting. So
Yeah,
that would be
it's
a
an
great
open meeting.
opportunity for staff to get engaged in that board meeting.
Yeah.
Works for
Pull us
me.
aside for an hour or whatever before dinner, after something.
That is the
as
night
dinner.
we
There's gonna
usually
be
do some
dinner,
type of mixer event. So as long as, if we
do
start our
before?
board meeting at our normal time, hopefully we
4:30?
should be able to do both.
There. Yeah.
Yep,
I think that sounds awesome.
sounds good to me.
Yeah.
If that's what you all would like to do, we are
would
always
like to
on
do
board.
We got to get together anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that gets really close for our other board members that are up north. Okay, now you're done.
I am done, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jill. Appreciate it. Next up, our Chief Finance Officer. Brian, what do you got?
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board. This evening, you get to hear from me twice. This first time, though, we will be covering the month of October financials. So October was another great, fairly unremarkable month. We closed our October payroll with 639 FTEs. And Jerry, I apologize, that is not on the agenda or the paper, so don't worry about that. I also do want to apologize up front because I did not get the line numbers on the statement of fund net change. My sincere apologies.
We'll find them.
We'll find it. My apologies. Okay, so getting started, again, your packet does contain the balance sheet, the statement of change in fund balance, the year over year, and the condensed trend for your review, and we will discuss budget in a little while. So getting started with the balance sheet, total current assets still sitting around 36 million. There isn't anything I really wanted to highlight here except that our AP accrual account is once again a little elevated at 441,000, and in that accrual line we have expenses for the Microsoft Copilot licensures in around 217. I wrote that down. And some advertising expense. Oh my goodness. My apologies. Microsoft Copilot license and legal bills, in addition to our last curriculum for the year, our social emotional curriculum. Our current net change, all the way at the bottom, is a little over 3 million, with our revenues still exceeding our expenditures. So now we're going to move to the statement of change in fund balance without the lines. I did want to highlight one thing for you in the revenue section. That is in other revenue. We did receive a surplus share from our Cigna healthcare provider from 24-25 plan year in the amount of $66,000. That's just a profit, not necessarily a profit share, but we overfunded our health insurance plan, and we get some of that money back at the end of the year. That's the only outlier in the revenue section. It brings our total revenue through the end of October to 29 million, which is right in line with where we anticipated being at 65% of our adopted budget. We're going to jump all the way down.
I'm sorry, that insurance thing was under other revenue?
It was under other revenue.
Okay, great, I got it, I see here, yeah.
It would be line 7 if you had a line number. So we're actually going to go to page 2. In the 500s, wanted to highlight again this communication line. And the communication line encompasses a lot of different large categories. It has our Microsoft licensing, it has advertising, branding, all things communication. So in that line, again, we had some co-pilot licenses, a lot of advertising expense as Alan wraps up some of his enrollment advertising. We're going to get through a lot of that budget at this time of the year. The only other thing I wanted to point out for you in the 500s was we did add a new line, and it is towards the bottom of the 500 section. It is called Administrative Overhead District 49 Tech. We broke this line out. We've really had a lot of increased transparency with District 49 and how we are accounting for the services that we have to buy back from them. We use some of their features for reporting, some of their systems, their accounting systems, their SIS. So that became an important component, and we'll touch again on it in the budget, the revised budget. But I did want to highlight that does stand out a little bit because there is no adopted budget for that line because we have never broken those out in this manner. All right, we're going to jump to the 600s, still on page 2 in the curriculum line. Again, I touched on that earlier. We did finalize all of our curriculum payments for this year, bringing our total curriculum for the year up to $867,000. That pushed us a little over our budget, but we'll true that up in the revised budget, and it is still well within the acceptable range there. Last page, page 3, lines 84 and 87 were the other significant things I wanted to mention for October. Had a lot of leasehold improvement expenses again this month, finishing some of the build outs for our new sites, and the building improvement line. We did pay our first installment of the remodel on building 1 in October. It's really exciting to see that progress come along. Very much looking forward to showing additional progress there, excuse me. The only other thing I have for October financials is that we did get our 990 finalized, and I will be distributing that for your review via email. Any questions for me?
Not hearing any. Then you're going to come back and hit us with the budget, under information, it looks like.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you'll be back for command performance. Next up, we have our Chief Information Officer, Jamie. I believe you have a building update.
We do.
What do you got for us?
Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. So we've got a list of things that we've kind of been going through on both of the buildings, as well as some miscellaneous items around the property as well that we've kind of been tracking on. A lot of progress now. The buildings are really ramping up in a hurry. We've got all the crews are in there, a lot going on with that. So I'm just going to hit some of these things pretty quickly, but I do want to invite the board and anyone who's interested, of course, Thursdays, 1 o'clock. The buildings are open for our owner, architect, contractor meetings, and the board is always welcome at those meetings. Of course, if multiple of you come, then, we've got to coordinate that properly. However, if any of you ever want to stop by, please let us know, and you can get a look at the building and kind of the update as to what's going on and not have to wait for me every month. So good opportunity there.
So that's at 11?
Thursdays at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Yep. So just kind of starting with Building 1, all of the framing, with the exception of soffits around the top by the ceiling area, is now all complete in Building 1, and drywall is now going up in Building 1. So it is really starting to take shape. You can walk through Building 1 now and really kind of see the design really coming to life. Now that everything's kind of been gutted and everything's being put back together, you can see where the new bathrooms are going to be. You can see the training center coming to life, the new offices that are being constructed. It's really starting to look like our home now in Building 1, which is pretty exciting. The plumbing has needed to be rerouted in a few areas in Building 1, specifically the supply lines. Originally, those were put underneath the concrete slab, and of course, there's plumbing issues that we uncovered during the process. The decision was made, let's take that up and over now instead of back through the slab again. So the original piping, supply line piping, was capped off underneath the slab. They're routing new PEX lines up and over the grid ceilings now, which is a much better way. It allows us to fix that.
No sewer.
Correct. Sewer lines are a different story. Those are still under the slab, though they did have to do some saw cutting in the slab to fix a few of the areas where the sewer lines were how do we say, not good, right? Not good. So that's all complete. The plumbing's now being rerouted, supply lines being rerouted over the top. Pretty excited to see that one done. One cool feature in Building 1 is what's called the nano wall. That's the sliding glass wall in the training center that allows for the seating area versus the training center kind of be separated into two rooms if necessary, open back up if we need that to be the case. The pillars are now sunk for that, and the support beams for the nano wall are now going in. So that's really starting to come together. It's exciting to see that one. Electrical is also on its way. We've got a new combined panel system for the building that it kind of allows for a single point of control for staff within the building. We're watching that being installed now too. Data cabling, security camera cabling, all that is now also underway in Building 1. And so this is the best news to share, is that we are still very much on track to begin moving this office into Building 1 in mid-January. And that is the window of opportunity we have to move all of the furniture from all of our offices and people's personal belongings and school-owned belongings into the building around that mid-January time. We are coordinating that now within this building so that people know exactly what to expect and how we're going to get them moved when that time comes. So Building 1 is well on its way, and very exciting to see that one come together. Building 2 is also now finally fully going. It doesn't look anything like it used to look. It's completely empty now. Demo is almost, I believe I heard today, demo's about 90% complete. So it's almost completely gutted out through there. And when you walk into Building 2, you realize just how big Building 2 actually is now that there's not a ton of operating rooms in there anymore. So it looks significantly different. We did make a change to the design of Building 2. There were 2 bathrooms in the front of Building 2. We discovered some sewer line issues with those bathrooms. With a code review, told us we don't need those bathrooms. We actually have plenty of capacity in the bathrooms that are there. So we took those 2 out, which allowed us to cap that sewer line and avoid some extra cost on those. So by removing those, we actually have more room for humans, which is actually a very good thing all the way across. On the walkway, we are waiting for the word on the lot line rearrangement for the covered walkway between the 2 buildings. So we had to vacate that lot line and basically do some work around the property to combine all of the individual parcels that we own there into one larger parcel. And so before we could get a permit to build that walkway, because that walkway does straddle to an independent property line there, that lot line has to be vacated. So Matrix Engineering is working with our architects to get that completed, and we hope to have permit pulled for the walkway probably early December at this point is kind of what that looks like now. So that'll allow the concrete work to begin there and get the walkway built. So move date on Building 2 currently is set for mid-March into early April, where we'll move the technology department from its current location on Club Manor Drive over to Building 2 at that particular time. A couple little miscellaneous things that we're still working on. We are keeping an eye on the parking lot situation. It does need some seals and some repairs in the parking lot. The window of opportunity for that has passed. Unfortunately, now that winter is here, we can no longer do that work. And it doesn't make any sense anyway with construction traffic all over the parking lot. So that will be a spring project. We'll have to come back, repaint and reseal the parking lot in the springtime. So that's kind of where that's set for. And the only other thing that we're watching right now is a landscaping refresh. We also are going to need to do the vacant lot's going to need more landscaping attention. That will also be a spring project. We're not going to worry about that now, considering the weather is starting to turn. So that is really the main update that I have. A lot of activity, a lot of work. Invite you to come see it anytime you like. There's no questions. That's all I have for you tonight.
When you said about the electrical panel, so you're saying one panel for both buildings?
No, it's one panel in
Will you
each
get
building.
two separate bills on?
Yes, great question. No, it is two different systems on each building. And the reason for that is building 1 is more all offices, whereas building 2 is more of a work product area. So a lot more heavy power requirement in building 2 than there is in building 1. So we couldn't use the same type of system in building 2 that we've got in 1, but the combined panel is really a system that kind of allows, because kind of the way building 1 is designed, you have so many offices and you aren't really going to see everybody all the time in building 1. There's a panel that kind of allows you to kind of all on, all off, if you will. So the last person out, we will be figuring out what system that needs to look like to determine who's still in the property and still in the building. Last person can just kind of hit a button and it just kind of powers down all of building 1. So yeah, a clapper, if you will.
That would be amazing.
A clapper kind of thing. No, it's not like that, but just that's kind of what that panel setup is. So building 2 is a little different because of the technology requirements in building 2. So you're going to have more server systems in there, kind of more, that kind of needs a different type of power load in 2 than 1.
So instead of 3 parcels, we'll have 1?
We'll actually have 2. So we'll have the parcel that contains the buildings is 1 parcel, and then we still have the vacant lot out in the front, which is being treated separate.
Not doing a lot.
We are not for the vacant parcel. If we would have included the vacant parcel in with the 2 main buildings, we would have had to do some public works project along the vacant lot in the front in the name of kind of what we called the sidewalk to nowhere.
Gotcha.
And by not including it in the parcels, we were able to avoid any extra public works work on that. Yep. Good question.
Any other questions? Come and see the building. I'll probably go there Thursday. I think I'll show up Thursday. I think I'm around. Any board member reports? Not hearing any. Next, I need a vote, or I need a motion and a second and an approval for the consent agenda, which the consent agenda was the October 2025 finances presented last month and the minutes presented last month. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second? Second. Did I hear a second?
I wasn't here, so I don't know if I can vote.
I'll second.
But that was, you weren't here? I think we volunteered for something like that. I don't remember what it was.
That was the previous one. There was a couple previous on that.
We have a second. Call for that vote.
Drace Walker.
Yay.
CJ Renat.
Yay.
Luis Contreras.
Yay.
Ed Del Duca.
Aye.
Motion is carried.
Great. We don't have any action items, but we do have our revised budget, which...
Drum roll.
Now, this revised budget, is this our last budget?
No.
Before the last budget?
Sure.
Seems like there's one after the first of the year, isn't there?
That's this one.
That's this one?
Well,
Okay.
we'll see what happens with funding in January.
Okay.
I can't say that with
Okay.
any level of
Okay.
certainty. I can say that
What
Ted
can you
asked
say?
me to keep it to 10 minutes. Pretty sure you said 5, but I'm going to roll with 10. So we're going to get started.
Go ahead.
I did put together a short summary to follow along with the actual revised budget, which I did manage to put line numbers on this one. So this proposed revised budget is a total of $88 million, which is up $3.79 million from our adopted budget of $8.4 that we adopted in June. The important component of revenue that changed in this proposed budget is, as Jill mentioned, our 6976 pupil count at a funding level of $11,178.90 per student, which is $6-7 lower than what our adopted budget was at $11,185. To speak up.
Yeah, speak up. Sorry.
Okay. So for our per pupil revenue on line 1, the increase in student count with the decrease in per pupil funding left us a net change of about $3 million. So that takes our total per pupil revenue in this revised budget to 77.9, pretty close to 78. The only other adjustments in the revenue section were a couple adjustments. Line 3, with the ECA, we're just truing these up to what we learned our actual grant awards are. So for ECA on line 3, that was an addition of $529,000. ELPA was a slight reduction of $8,600, and then IDEA was an increase of $31,000. The only other adjustments in revenue is the mill levy override on line 9. We had to true up to what the actual mill levy allocation is. That will total $338,000 for this year. And then another small adjustment in the other revenue, which if you recall our discussion on October financials, we have received $99,000 in other revenue year to date, which has taken us over our adopted budget of $50. So our new revised budget will be at $125. All in all, again, we're going to sit at 88, or we're proposing to sit at 88,070,047. It's a lot of sevens. Jumping down to the expenditure section, still on page 1 here, salaries. Our proposed revised budget personnel increase is $335,000. That takes us from 685 FTE and adds 13, which is 1 admin, couple instructional, couple tech, HR, and additional supporting roles, SEGs, counselors, things like that. That would bring our total salary budget to $40,512,499. Any questions on that before we go to page 2?
That takes us to 698 employees.
That takes us to 698 employees. It's very close to 700.
We're under 700.
We're under 700, a smidge. Jumping to page 2, lines 20 through 27, the benefits. As we changed salaries and increased salaries, we did have some benefit categories that needed changing as well, primarily para and the health insurance expense. We did those calculations based on actual expenses and actual salaries versus budgeted expenses and budgeted salaries. So an additional $1 million there, bringing our total benefits in this proposed budget to 15.2. So total salaries and benefits, 55.7 million, which is again an increase of 1.4. Jumping down to the 300s, the purchase services, only some small adjustments here. Some services in our network and security needs, additional money allocated for employee training and development. In the 400s, we had a little larger jump here, mostly for custodial, some changes in building rentals, a lot of repair and maintenance to help us with some facility modifications geared around security. The one thing I did want to bring to your attention is it does look a little strange here. We're adjusting the budget down in facility rentals on line 42 by $75,000. That was a decision. That $75,000 is being rolled into the graduation budget, so that when we talk about graduation, the cost of renting the facilities for our graduation ceremonies and the actual cost of putting on the graduation are in one place. We'll get a better, clear picture of what our graduation costs us in celebrating those students. Let's jump down to the 500s. This one is a little strange. There's a lot of change in the 500 category. We're going to go ahead and turn to page 3. So line 60. So as I mentioned in the October financials, we've been working with District 49 and really improved a lot of the transparency around the services that we buy back from them, as you know, they are our authorizer. So these revisions come really as a tribute to them and how they've improved their processes and helped us both be on the same page of where we are, and this is going to help us budget. So a lot of words there. What I'm really meaning to say is that at the end of this year, our actual overheads will be more aligned than how we had originally budgeted them because of the work that District 49 has done to help us with this transparency. All in all, we are taking the 500s down 500,000, bringing our total proposed budget to 9.5 in the 500s. Any questions before we move on? Okay. Supplies, lines 64 through 87. Again, we talked about the addition of the facility rental budget and kind of merging that into the graduation budget. We did increase the graduation budget, so we're trying to have larger ceremonies, fewer larger ceremonies where we're celebrating more graduates, so that budget has increased accordingly. The only other thing I wanted to highlight in the 600s is that we have decided to eliminate the books, the concurrent enrollment books and periodicals budget on line 76 and roll that into the concurrent enrollment supply budget, which is on line 82. So that's a total wash, but just wanted to point that out because that will look different. A couple other adjustments in these supply lines, a total change of 200,000, bringing the total proposed budget to a little over 3 million. The fourth and final page is the property section where there are some fairly significant adjustments. We have had several vehicle incidents this year. We're adding additional budget in the vehicle line item, some additional budget in the furniture and fixtures line item, additional budget on line 91 for equipment. This is again for security equipment primarily. And also along the lines of security leasehold improvements, line 92, adding additional budget there for some security modification and site improvements. And then last but not least, but certainly the most expensive, the tech purchase line. We are hoping to purchase an additional 1,500 student computers, 80 staff computers, and some esports machines to help get ahead of our inventory a little bit. That will bring the total property proposed budget to 9.5. We did leave this contingency line as is, as it was in the adopted budget, and that remains at 1.669 available for all contingencies. This is a zero-based budget, so our total expenditures of $88,070,046 match our revenue. And again, this is the draft revised, and hopefully we won't find many things to tweak in the next 3 weeks before we meet again. Any questions on our proposed revised budget?
I will say that we spent a lot of time on this at the finance meeting. Was that yesterday? Mm-hmm. Yesterday, so we spent a lot of time on this. So we feel pretty confident from the finance committee that we like it.
Thank you.
Just to let you guys know. Is that all?
Yes, thank you. That was not 10 minutes, but thank you.
Well, we don't count when you repeat yourself. That's still part of the 10 minutes. Anyway, thank you. No, very good. Well done. Very good. Very well done. No, it made sense. Revised budget. Great. That's item 12. And we'll vote to finalize that next time. So that'll be an action item.
That is correct.
We're good on that, okay. Next up, we have public comment. I believe we do have something plugged in here?
No, not this meeting, next meeting.
Oh, that's the next meeting, okay. It's all good, it's all good. Do we have anybody signed up for public comment? I guess we should phrase it that way.
Yeah, no, we don't.
We don't, okay. Well, we welcome it. Next up, under announcements, our next board meeting will be December 16th here at the Gerald G. Gatling Boardroom, Warren Microsoft Teams virtual meeting. We do not have anything for executive session.
We do not, Mr. President.
That sounds good. Mute the attorney, just to make sure. Sorry, Amber, I had to take a shot at you there.
She is.
That's it then. Executive privilege, I'll adjourn this meeting at 5:32. Everybody have a good evening. Thank you. 2 minutes over.